please.
Yeah, our neighbor's right now. Comes from without a comes from yes, the very first day. You might say you were nice.
If everyone can have a seat, please, we'd like to start.
Watch your back. Watch your back. Watch your back.
If everyone can have a seat, we'd like to start our service. Thank you. Where's everybody down wrong? Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Wendy, and I'm having the privilege of officiating the celebration of life service for Mimi, as everyone called her. On behalf of the Loucks family, thank you all for coming today to celebrate the incredible life of beloved daughter, wife, mother, auntie, and friend Mimi. In this special way, we're here to remember her beautiful memories, a lifetime of smiles and family and friends that loved her dearly. Your presence means so very much. Her family is grateful for your support and the love you had for Mimi. A word of comfort. Dear Heavenly Father, we lift this family up to you. May your Holy Spirit be their source of comfort and strength. Help them to feel your loving presence in this time of need. Grant them peace that only you can give and the hope of better days ahead. Amen. And we'd like to just dedicate this song, which is a wonderful song and a song that Mimi loved the most. And the title of the song, played by the Lehman IT staff, is Landslide by Fleetwood Mac. To my love,
Can't try in my
we would ask Yesenia Berlez to come up to read the eulogy, after which we're going to ask Doug and Carrion Loucks to share their reflections.
Welcome. For some of us, it's welcome back. The last time we gathered here, it was a very different celebration. 39 years ago, the last 9th grade class of the Castleville Junior High School held our graduation right here. Our salutatorian was Nellie Escalante, and in the audience were our friends, Nellie's late husband, Jonathan, our friend, Lasan, and of course, our beautiful Edwina. My condolences for all of their losses. When you have something good, you share it with those you love. When you have something truly amazing, you feel compelled to share it with the world. Mimi was amazing. Her friendship was a rare and precious gift. It was rooted in honesty, overflowing with love, unwavering in support, and always laced with laughter. It's no surprise that she had the kind of friends most people only dream of. To know Mimi was to be drawn in by her light. She didn't make a friend. She established relationships, long-lasting ones. I met Mimi in junior high school 127 in the Bronx. Two bright-eyed, bushy-tailed 12-year-olds who thought we knew everything about the world. Who could forget Mimi's flawless Joan Rivers impersonation? Can we talk? Or her trumpet rendition of Freddie Jackson's You Are My Lady. I can still hear it. In reality, we were just two lumps of clay, slowly being shaped by life, yes, but most of all by each other. Her pain became mine, my triumphs became hers, and we grew side by side, heart by heart. We quickly became known as the terrible twins, not because we looked alike, because we didn't, but because we shared something deeper, an inseparable bond. We often joke that we shared a brain, too. And just like real twins, we spoke our own unspoken language, a connection so strong that neither time nor distance could break it. Believe it or not, we even showed up to graduation wearing the exact same dress and the exact same color without planning it or shopping together. That's just who we were. Growing up with Mimi was an adventure. We shared clothes, did each other's hair, slept in each other's homes, and so many other little things that turned friendship into sisterhood. One of us was the voice of reason, and the other one was me. Allegedly. Mimi was a cherished part of my family. She wasn't just a friend. She was another cousin, sister, niece, aunt, daughter. She had a special way of fitting in wherever she was loved. She gave it back just as freely. She especially loved being in the kitchen with my mom, particularly when my mom was making her famous chuletas, singing and dancing to Tu Me Hiciste Brujería by El Gran Combo, forever one of our favorites. Mimi enjoyed the tough conversations, the ones that reveal your innermost hopes, dreams, and fears. We debated topics like religion, politics, and the all-important question, is it really to dance when nobody's watching? As a true performer, Mimi insisted that you never truly push yourself without an audience. I, on the other hand, believe dancing for yourself is more than enough. I'm sure many of you are also aware of her firm opposition to the live, love, laugh movement. And the fact that I just said these 3 words would have us in stitches right about now. I did that. Oh. Professionally, Mimi made her magic count. She took that same passion for connecting with people and turned it into a profession. Working in hospice, Mimi always went above and beyond, playing music from her patients' glory days, honoring special meal requests, and yes, sometimes tracking down authentic pasteles because frozen goyamas are not acceptable. It's no surprise that Mimi was my maid of honor and proudly stood by me as I said I do. If you want to hear the story of how she held her peace at my wedding, come see me later. My children knew her as Titi Mimi and greeted her with the traditional bendición request, a sign of love, respect, and just how rooted she was in our lives. She wasn't just present, she was home. All relationships hit rough patches, and sisterhood is no exception. When my beautiful sister moved across the country to Arizona, I moved to my beloved island of Puerto Rico. We lost touch for a little while. During that time, she met a man who would never try to dim her spark and love her for who she is while appreciating the force that is Mimi. That man is Doug. Although he never stood a chance. Once Mimi's mind is made up, it's made up. And her heart was set on you for all of the right reasons. Doug, thank you for loving my sister in the way that she truly deserved. What you shared was a rare and beautiful kind of love. I'm so sorry for your loss. Mimi had a gift for making things personal, literally. She loved making meaningful, homemade gifts straight from the heart. Her lemonade, made from lemons from her own backyard, was amazing. First of all, who knew lemons can survive in the desert? I did it. Second, Mimi's lemonade was an all-day event, but I won't share her recipe. And if you were lucky enough to receive one of her bottles of homemade vanilla for Christmas, crafted with Madagascar beans over a 6-month infusion, you knew how much love she truly poured into it. Mimi not only gave to charities, but she actively participated whenever possible. She supported Take Them a Meal and World Central Kitchen. But her most shining moments were the acts of kindness that she didn't spotlight or share. She gave from the heart, gave of her time, her wisdom, her cheer, and infectious laughter. She also loved to bake. While baking may not have been her strongest talent, giving up was never an option for her. She proved that when our friend Annie challenged us to make the infamous lamb cake. Let's just say it did not land us on a baking show, but that cake did go viral for looking just like the failed version. But we could not be more proud. And then there were the firsts. The first kiss, first love, first heartbreak, first job, first one to move away, first arrest. Allegedly. And then came even the harder firsts. The first to lose a parent, first to lose a sibling, first to lose a child. Through every milestone, joyful or devastating, we were there for each other always. Our bond wasn't built in picture-perfect moments, but rather forged in the ones that you don't want photographed, raw, real, unforgettable. Celebrations are easy, but in the dark times, when ugly crying is necessary, that's when our friendship proved its strength. In grief, in silence, in the mess, we showed up for each other. Just like in the cheesy 80 teens movie, we performed a silly candlelit ritual, complete with a sharp object and a candle. We became blood sisters forever. We sealed the deal by exchanging traditional Irish clatterings, because that's what two Latinas from the Bronx do, right? Allegedly. It made no sense, and yet it made all the sense in the world, because it was us. Sorry, Doug, that technically means I put a ring on it first. I want to thank everyone for sharing your stories with me. I've heard your stories of how Mimi didn't just touch lives, she transformed them. The stories have brought tears to my eyes, but not one of them surprised me. I cannot pay tribute to Mimi without honoring one of her greatest achievements, her beloved son, Trevor. Mimi's grief was deep and profound. Losing Trevor just 7 months ago was a sorrow no mother should bear. And while her light remains with us, I know a part of her left with him. Trevor was an extraordinary young man, kind, funny, grounded in calmness that brought peace to everyone around him, much like his father. I was lucky to witness many sides of him. As a partner, he showed depth, care, and a level of emotional intelligence far beyond his years. He was a comforter, there when needed and quietly supported when space was better. Trevor was also wildly creative. As a musician, he followed in his father's footsteps as a drummer, filling spaces with rhythm and life. As a skater, he performed tricks that made me hold my breath. And as an entrepreneur, he turned vintage finds into treasures with style and vision. No matter the role, Trevor lived with passion and heart. Though his life was far too short, it was rich in love, laughter, and meaning. That richness is a direct reflection of the love and support his parents gave him. Raising a son who left a lasting impact on every life he touched, much like his mother. Knowing Trevor was a gift, and for that I will always be grateful. Maya, I see Mimi in your heart, your smile, your eyes. Her beauty was not just physical, and it radiates from you. I love you. So how do we begin to say goodbye? I don't know. Losing Mimi feels impossible. How do you say goodbye to someone who has woven into every chapter of your life? But here's what I do know. Mimi did not just leave behind memories. She left behind pieces of herself in every laugh that echoes hers, in every act of fierce loyalty, in every moment that we choose love, even when it's hard. She was my sister, my co-conspirator, allegedly, my person. My wish for everyone is that you all find your Mimi. This one is mine. To settle our years-long debate, we were both wrong. The point is to dance, and dance we did. What else can we expect from the girl who went to the school where the theme song proudly declared, I'm gonna live forever. I'm gonna learn how to fly. That spirit lived in her every day. Fly high, TT. I promise we'll all remember your name. And yes, I warned you. The government name is coming out. Edwina, Carrion Loucks. The lights on Violet Avenue don't shine as bright anymore. Continue to tell the stories, share the laughter, and dance, even when someone's watching. Te amo, mi hermana. I am so proud of you, not for who you became, but for who you remain. I love you.
Now we'll have reflections from Doug and Maya Loucks, after which we would love to have family and friends come up and share. We're in Boogie Down Bronx, we can do that.
Maya and I just want to thank all of you coming today to help us celebrate Eden's life. As you all know, we've been through quite a lot over the last few months. And I can't tell you how much the outpouring of love and support from our family and friends and our co-workers has meant to us. Mimi and I met in 1994 at a birthday party in Tempe, Arizona. It was just after a minute or so of small talk, she decided to tell me a joke. Because we realized that we grew up very close to each other, her from the Bronx, me from North Jersey. So she's like, I'm gonna break the ice by hitting a joke. So she says, do you know what the difference is between Jersey girls and trash? I gave her a big eye roll and said, I don't know, tell me, what is the difference between Jersey girls and trash? So she says, the trash gets picked up. Now look, I have to say, I'm a very proud Jersey boy, so this wasn't the greatest first impression for me. But I was able to look past this, and we ended up hanging out the rest of the night, and then soon we went out on our first date together. I decided for the first night, our first date, I would take her to introduce her to kind of the style of music that I was listening to at the time. It was a band called Clutch, and look, I wouldn't be surprised if you've never heard of the band Clutch, but they kind of fall more into the hardcore style of music, and I was totally into it at the time. I was waiting for this band to come for months to our area, so I was really excited. So we're there on the floor, and I'm screaming and yelling and slamming into her on the dance floor, and I was having a grand old time. Mimi absolutely hated it. About halfway through, she's like, we are leaving right now. All you guys are crazy. So I guess you could kind of say we're opposites for sure. And this was really never more evident to me than when I asked her if she was a Yankees fan or a Mets fan. Look, I know she's from the Bronx and all, and maybe, just maybe, I thought I may have found a Bronx girl that was a Mets fan. But no, she was diehard Yankees all the way. So I said, okay, it's not the end of the world. Football season's right down right around the corner. She surely has to be a Giants fan. I mean, they just won the Super Bowl in '86 and '90, so how could she not be a Giants fan living in New York during that time? Well, it turns out one of her fondest memories as a kid was going to a Jets game with her dad, Rolando. So she was, of course, a Jets fan. At that point, I had to admit it. Maybe opposites did attract. Mimi introduced me to one of her favorite artists named Sade, who was just a beautiful, soulful singer. We would go to sleep to that album, Love Deluxe, every night for like the first 5 years we met. And when we got married in 1997 in Sedona, Our first dance was to the song Cherish the Day by Sade. Many of you here today were at that wedding, and I hope you cherish the day as much as we did. Mimi was a very good student and worked extremely hard to get acceptance into LaGuardia High School in Manhattan. This is the same school that the 80s movie fame was based on. She eventually earned a bachelor's degree in women's studies in women's studies and a master's in social work at Arizona State University. During her final and most challenging year of studies, she was pregnant with our son Trevor. One of her proudest moments in life was walking down that stage with Trevor in her arms. He was just 2 months old, and of course she had him fully decked out in Arizona State cap and a onesie. Mimi had a long, successful career as a medical social worker. She spent her first 10 years with Hospice of the Valley, helping families with death and dying. In going through some of her keepsakes, I found a short article that they wrote about her during that time. Just trying to find it here. Here it is. So this isn't a newsletter. They had thousands of employees at the time, but they did a kind of a spotlight on her that month. Mimi, the mother of 2 young children, works from 6 a.m. Saturday to 10 p.m. Sunday, when the only thing predictable is unpredictability. She says, "One thing I absolutely love is a call in the middle of the night saying, go to this person's house. I don't know the neighborhood, I don't know what kind of family it is, don't know what kind of death it is. I meet the most fascinating people." Mimi usually walks in at peak moments. Most of her work involves death calls. She also does crisis intervention, as well as fielding calls from Spanish-speaking families. All told, she handles 20 to 30 cases in a weekend, utilizing a mix of sensitivity, grace, and humor. "I am diverse, culturally aware, my family is mixed," said Mimi. "I feel comfortable with almost anybody. I think that really helps." She's Puerto Rican and Greek. Like many others at HOV, Mimi believes she was called to the work. Her biological father died before she was born. Her mother talked with Mimi about the death, how it happened, how she wasn't able to be with him. She needed support she didn't get, Mimi said. "Working here, I can do some extraordinary things for families and make sure this doesn't happen again." Mimi sees parallels between birth and death. "Death is almost like birth to me. It's a very spiritual thing that happens," she said. "I will always remember the nurses who were in the delivery room when I gave birth to my children. The same thing happens with families at death. I can't tell you how honored I am to be in their presence. Such a meaningful moment in their lives." A patient story, here's a patient story, Mimi responded to a call from the X-Time PCU where a 34-year-old woman was dying of uterine cancer and was in pain. The patient's mother was screaming at the nurses, complaining they weren't doing enough. When Mimi arrived, the patient's mother told her, "My daughter isn't much older than you. This could be you next week." Mimi locked eyes with her and said, "And if it was, I would hope there would be somebody here comforting a mother." The woman let down her guard and sat down and talked to Mimi about her dashed hopes and dreams. "I went into the parking lot afterwards and vomited," Mimi said. "This was the most heart-wrenching visit. Her pain was out there, on the surface. I know I had made a difference." So this was obviously very difficult work, and I worked hard too, but I would come home with my little hotel issues, and they would just pale in comparison to what she had dealt with. The amazing part of it was that she never, ever brought it home with her. Mimi loved to celebrate our kids' birthdays. She would put months into planning the theme and the decor, and usually had full costumes for all of us, including our dogs. Nothing made her laugh more than seeing me in some ridiculous pink suit with a wig that was way too big for my head and a face full of makeup. She would insist on baking the cake herself, and half the time I would end up having to go to Walmart at 1 a.m. to get more cake mix and icing because the first 3 versions didn't work out. Mimi loved our dogs very much throughout the years. Messier, Muttley, Lucy, and now our big boy Bruno. We would spend most of our spare time creating little songs about our love for the dog and how the dog loved me more than her, or she more than I. Here is a little clip of one of the songs she made for Bruno when she was recently in the hospital. We would do that all weekend, just all different versions of that, and you know, it was what kept us light and filled our weekends for sure. Let's see. Mimi loved her friends, and she had many. She joined a bunco group through some work friends, and if you don't know what bunco is, it's a dice game where you play for a small pot of money, but you also enjoy some good food and beverages. Emphasis on the beverages. They would fondly call the night Drunko Bunko. The women rotate so that each month someone different hosts, and whenever it was Mimi's turn to host, I knew I had to vacate the premises, make a plan to be out of there for the whole night. At one point during this time, after the kids were a bit grown, Mimi had a breast lift, and she was very proud of her new look. And so at the next bunko game, within the first 5 minutes, Mimi whipped out her new boobs just to show the crowd. They had so much fun with it that she made it a new tradition, and she would always end up flashing the crowd at some point during the bunko game. I would usually get a text around midnight from one of her friends, and there's Mimi with a huge smile and, of course, her big you-know-what staring right back at me. Mimi had some tough times as a kid. She never got the chance to meet her father. He passed before she was born. His name was Eddie, and he fought in the Vietnam War. And when he came back, he was changed, like so many of the other brave men that went there. We would feel Eddie's presence, especially when the kids were born. Rolando Torres, who married Mimi's mother, Andrea, was a great father to Mimi and her 3 siblings, Tony, Arthur, and Jessica. Julieta, or Ita for short, was Rolando's mother, and she moved in with the family, and she had an incredible impact on Mimi. She helped teach her how to speak Spanish and how to cook, and the incredibly strong love and devotion that Mimi would share with her family and friends came from what she saw in Ita. Mimi loved her mom very much. She shared an uncanny resemblance to Andrea and inherited many personality traits as well. Mostly good, some not so good, but there was no denying that they had an incredible bond, and it was formed that day that Mimi was born in Jacobi Hospital. Rolando has been an incredible support to us over the last several months. He came out and stayed with us right after Trevor passed away, and he came 2 separate times to help while Mimi was sick. I can't thank you enough for the love and support you have given us, Rolando. Mimi was very active on Facebook, as you might know, and she made many strong connections with people far and wide. Many times she would help them with grief or personal struggles that you just don't normally find in that social setting. Several of those folks have reached out expressing how much they appreciated their friendship and are now grieving her loss. Maya and I want to express our deepest gratitude to the incredible friends and family who have come together to help organize 2 beautiful celebrations of life for Mimi. Because come on guys, one was just not going to be enough, right? The outpouring of support from so many, both here in New York and in Arizona, has been truly overwhelming. And it's a testament to the strong and lovely community that surrounded her. A special thank you to Holly Gentile and her family in Arizona. They couldn't be here today, but their unwavering support has meant the world to us. Our families grew up together, and I was so grateful that Mimi had Holly and her husband Tony in her life when I met her. My sister Christy came out to Arizona and helped me immensely during that event. And so thank you so much for coming, Christy. Here in the Bronx, I want to extend my heartfelt thanks to Maria Fernandez, Yesenia Perez, and Andy Bowler for their incredible help throughout this process. Your generosity, dedication, and kindness have been invaluable in making this celebration so meaningful. I truly could not have done this without you. To everyone who's contributed in any way, your love and support have made a world of difference. Mimi was surrounded by such a beautiful circle of family and friends, and we couldn't be more grateful for the way you've all come together to honor her life. Maya and I will never forget all that you have done for us and continue to do for us. Thank you for coming today.
This time, if there are any friends and family that would like to come and give reflections, please feel free to do so. As you come up, could you please just introduce who you are and your relationship with Mimi? Thank you.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mike Gupta. I'm just here to sort of give a different perspective perspective of Mimi, because Mimi was an awesome person. She embodied the 3 words she loved: live, laugh, and love, right? She's probably laughing at us right now. We're associating that the 3 words with her. But I wore, you guys are probably scratching your heads why I have this shirt on. We shared our favorite comedian, Eddie Murphy. No, it's George Carlin. So she would send me, quotes and videos and all that stuff. So we used to share so many laughs. I didn't have the privilege of like growing up and knowing her, like Annie and you sending. But I kind of met her about, I think, 12 years ago. So I was just a weird Indian kid from the Bronx, but her and Annie kind of, they still treated me with respect, and we used to have a lot of laughs. Whenever she came to town, we always, met up, had great laughs, shared a lot of memes on Facebook. I guess that's what friendships are nowadays, right? And we also used to do all this funny, like, corporate speak, right? So I don't want to boil the ocean. Like, anyone that's been in office knows that term. But to just sort of double click on how awesome she was always there. It didn't matter what time, if you needed an ear, she would be there, and she would hear whatever you had to say. She would always offer really good feedback, and just to take this offline. I think Mimi's in a happy place with Trevor, and I really she was just an awesome person, and I know we will never forget her. She made an impact on me. I got 2 girls, an 8-year-old and a 3-year-old, and Mimi was always asking about them. And it didn't matter that I didn't know Mimi forever, but she just treated me like I was always a good friend. So thank you, Mimi, and we love you. So thank you.
My name's Lynn. I'm one of Mimi's cousins, and she is like an amazing part of our family. I remember when I took her and Jessica down to the city, and I was like, "You guys better be careful. They're not cheap." We went down to the Museum of Metropolitan Art and the Luxor thing, and I was lecturing them, "You can be careful. Don't get one." And they were driving me nuts. And I took them for pizza, and I said, "Be very careful. Don't just started to drop down my whole shirt." They made fun of me the whole day, the 2 of them. I was like, "Thanks a lot." My husband Frank used to live in Phoenix, and so she used to come and visit us when I used to go out to visit Frank. And she used to come, and we used to go to the different restaurants, and with all his friends. They didn't want to talk to anybody else. They just wanted to talk to me because she was such a pistol. She was like, and she would like ignore all these guys trying to talk to her because she was trying to talk to me and Frank because she doesn't see us all the time. We did a family Zoom. My Aunt Landy we do a family Zoom, and she was like the funniest thing when when the gigantic dog. She was like, "This dog is driving me nuts," and she was always like. She always had stories that we didn't want to talk to anybody else, but Mimi always had such wonderful stories, and she always made all of us feel good. When my mother died, she planted a thing in her backyard. She used to tell me about Jennifer's garden, and that was very comforting to me. When my father-in-law was sick and then died, she gave us a lot of resources from her work and from her notes. She always went out of her way to help all of us and make us all feel good. So, I just want to say, she was amazing. And I wish Holly was here because I wanted to yell at her for dragging her out to Arizona. So that's what I'm pleased that she tell her because, we really missed her, our presence in the Bronx. And I'm so glad that I'm so glad. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to everyone who loved her.
Mimi loved her family above all else, and she always was very loyal and cared about everyone in her family and stood by them. Even the black sheep and the outcasts, she would play devil's advocate and have empathy for everyone she ever met. She was an amazing aunt. She had 2 sons. When my youngest was born, she bought him an asabache and a shirt that said, "I'm not yelling, I'm Cuban." She loved to dive deep into the uncomfortable emotions in life, the kind of emotions that most people shy away from and try to avoid feeling. She would dive headfirst into them. She was never afraid to be inappropriate or provocative. When our brother died, we went to his funeral and on a weird whim I decided, and then immediately changed my mind, but she said, no, we have to do this to see a psychic. And so she found this one in a really bad part of town, and we went together, and it ended up being incredibly emotionally difficult. We talked about our brother and our mom, who had also recently passed, and by the end of it, I was emotionally destroyed. And when we left, I said to her, "Oh my God, I can't believe we paid $200 for that." And she said, "I know, right? It was so worth it." It's so crazy. I think that empathy and that fearlessness to deal with the tough emotions and really almost enjoy it made her such a good therapist and such a good social worker, as well as a good sister. We are all stronger for having known her. Thank you, Mimi, for being my sister and looking out for me my whole life. We will miss you every day.
Yeah, that would be, thank you. Hello, my name is Don Nealon, and I'm from upstate New York, or as Mimi would say, Canada. And I would say, "What are you talking about? I'm literally near the capital, Albany." And she said, "No, that's not New York." And so then when she found out, goodness, that I was a Red Sox fan, as Doug knows, that made life pretty fun for me. And in fact, as I'm going through her connections on Facebook, and I go through the memories, and it's baseball season. And they're pulling up the last couple of weeks, and I'm getting pictures of little Calvin pissing on a Red Sox hat. I see brooms of the Red Sox getting swept, and so, yeah, it's definitely a constant there. So with that, there was, and I talked to a few about we met through Arizona, and some good friends, really close friends that this has brought us together. And I always say that time in Arizona it was literally like a movie. We talked about like just singles where, we were our family together. A lot of our family were in different places, so we became our family. And I say like the show Friends, but she probably mocked that and all the white people in that show. And but a group of us from all over the country, and even Ireland, and trying to figure out life together. And so many of us, were characters in so many stories, and Mimi was definitely she was the main character. And then bringing Doug into this, and it was like this spin-off series that actually became even more successful, and it was had its definitely amazing. So I'll tell you that, like others, and Doug shared that, it was, I lost my wife 10 years ago, who was a dear friend of Mimi's also, and she checked in with me constantly. And I started going through our messages and just the talks we had, and then she would jump into something just so damn funny, and she, it was not an obligation, but out of deep, genuine love. And she saw people and she knew what mattered. And sign of a true friend is someone that can give you so much shit about your team and where you lived, but she knew also when you needed her there the most. And so Mimi had that rare kind of presence that made every moment feel more real, more grounded and alive. And now we all carry that forward. The same deep conversations and fond memories and what she meant to us. I say with love, with loyalty, and with the same kind of fierce care that Mimi gave so freely. I send all, my love and deepest condolences to everyone, especially to daughter mine, and so she meant so much to so many. So thank you for sharing her.
Hello, I'm Tony. I'm Mimi's older sister. She was 6 years younger than me. We grew up for a time in New York City. Mimi was the best little sister ever. When we were growing up, I was really bad. I was bad for a long time. My children still don't know about 95% of all the bad things I did until I finally decided just to stop all that, and now I'm a school teacher, so that figures, right? But I would do bad things, and I would get Mimi involved. She was very loyal. She would never tattle on me like little sisters would. I was like, look, Mimi, look out the window. There's that older guy that I'm dating. Look, he gave me his little necklace. It's gold. Isn't it cute? Look, there's his TR7. Don't tell mom. And she would never tell. And of course, I'd get caught anyway because my mom was smart and she knew. Mimi was the best behaved little girl ever. She was beautiful. And my mom used to like to brag about how well behaved she was, because there was me, I was the holy terror. There was Mimi, and then we won't even talk about Jessica. Even though she's awesome now, I could tell you war stories about when Jessica was little. She wanted to outdo all of us with that. Mimi and I were very, very different because I left and was partially raised in the South. I remember one time at Edith Juliet's funeral, because she was an absolute angel on earth, so we went to her funeral in Tampa. And I had gone through a born-again experience, and my mother was an atheist, but she was like, you just decide what you want to be, you make your way, you find your way, which is a little confusing at first, but my mother was legit. Like some atheist people I found are just doing that for attention. No, my mom was for real. She really did not believe in God or any of that. And Mimi used to like to joke and say that my mom used to say, what? A virgin having a baby? That's ridiculous. So, Mimi was very influenced by that. So I was going through a very passionate time spiritually, and I was trying to get Mimi, around. I was like, Mimi, are you spiritual? Are you interested in anything? No. So, and then she kind of changed a little bit, but she wasn't sure. I said, one time I tried to talk to Mimi about being born again, and we were on vacation together, and I laid it all out for her, and I had it all, and she had to make a decision, and she said, I don't want to go to heaven if my Jewish friends can't come with me. So that was the end of that conversation. But Mimi was awesome. Like I said, we were very different, but we were very respectful of each other. As the country was going through, times and trying to decide, who to vote for president, and all we have are these opposites. We would have lots of conversations and different points of view, but we loved each other very much, and we were very, very respectful. And Mimi had the biggest heart ever. She was so sensitive when she was little. She would just cry very easily, and I was kind of the big mean sister. One time I hid around the doorway and I scared her, and she jumped about 4 feet off the floor. And when she came down, she was really angry and she cried and was mad at me. But I think as she got older, she started protecting that really sensitive part of her by getting tougher, and she wouldn't always reveal that. We had a joke in our house, sorry Doug, embarrassing. Doug, where are you? We had a joke, I don't know if Doug ever heard it, but she was definitely wore the pants in the family. So she would say it like it was and tell Doug what was gonna happen. And so my mom, who Mimi got some of her bluntness from, we could do a whole story about my mom, but we won't go there. My mom used to jokingly call Doug, say how awesome he was an angel, but she nicknamed him White Boy. Because Mimi would tell him to jump and he would jump, do whatever. She was like, that poor Doug. Mimi just tells him, do this, and he does it. What in the world? You know, so my mother would joke. Mimi loved my mother very much. She was very hard. She still wasn't even over my mother's death. You're not a grown up until your mother passes. When your mother passes away, you really become a grown up. Because parents aren't supposed to die. So that was hard. And then Trevor really, she just couldn't recover from that. She wanted her boy. She wanted to be with Trevor. She would tell us, and we would try to talk to her, we would try to help her, we would try to do what we could, just get her. But we really felt like with the illnesses, with Trevor's death, she just kind of lost the will to live, to be honest. And we just felt like, and she would say, I just want to be with Trevor. I just want to be with Trevor. And having spoken to a lot of hospice nurses and really, really, really researching what happens when you pass, a lot of hospice nurses say that people come, there's a stage, and it's in their training manual and the whole deal, that it's not hallucination, that when people pass away, they see other people that have passed before them. And some lady told a story about that the woman passing did not recognize one of her relatives. And so he picked up the dog and he said, do you remember Fluffy? Your dog? Oh, okay, yeah, I remember Fluffy. Fluffy's here. So I really believe that Mimi is in heaven with Trevor and my mom, and they're sitting around having coffee. My mother sank it was gross with water. And they're having coffee and laughing at us and gossiping about us, and Mimi still saying how she hated live, love, and laugh. That was a big thing. I wanted to nail her so many live, love, and laugh things. She was going to kill her. But we all love Mimi, and she's always going to be alive in our hearts. I wanted to put, last thing I want to say is I wanted to put a little joke on her Facebook today, and I never got around to it yet. And I wanted to say, you're the only person that's so dramatic that you have to have 2 celebration of life. Like nobody else will ever.
Hello, everyone. Nice to see everyone. God bless everyone. I'm glad everyone is here for her. I'm glad everyone's here. So, my name is Shakura. It used to be Marsha in high school. I knew Mimi in high school. We went to performing arts, LaGuardia, drama major. And, you know, she's a nice girl, nice girl, nice girl. We weren't like best friends or anything, like I wasn't like in her crew, like you were in her crew and where the others, like they're in here, they're in here, they were her crew, and I'd always see them together, and nice girls, nice girls. But Mimi was a drama major, unlike her crew. So I would see Mimi every day, and man, her energy, her spirit. When the gentleman came up with the George Carlin t-shirt, I said, of course he's one of Mimi's friends as adults. You know, of course, you know, just kind of like zany and like animated and fun. So of course she would attract these kind of people throughout her life. Same kind of energy. Lovely girl, friendly, fun, and always smiling, happy, smiling, that beautiful big smile, and gorgeous full head of hair. gorgeous head of curly hair at like 16, teenage years. Beautiful, beautiful. But just a very, very nice soul, nice spirit, and I loved her very, very much. And I didn't see her, you know, we graduated in '89. I know it's hard to believe. But we all graduated in '89, and I didn't see her until 30 years later, until my first reunion with her was, I think, back in 2019. That was the first time I saw her, and I met Doug, and then I had the pleasure and opportunity of knowing Mimi now for the next 6 years after that on Facebook. So I'm learning, Mimi's got a husband, and she's got her kids, and it's so cool because, again, when you know somebody's spirit and they're just like a good person, you love them from then it's like now you're seeing the adult version of them and, you know, catching up with their family and stuff, and you're learning about them. Nice woman, a different stage in her life, of course, than the teenage Mimi, but just as nice and awesome. And it was just an honor. That's a cool thing about social media. It was just an honor to, like, get to know about her life, how generous we all are on social media, that we share our lives and learn about each other. So, you know, just very generous to like learn about her wonderful life in Arizona and her kids and her daughter, Maya. Every time I saw the post, I would say spitting image. And I don't know, like the friends from her adult life can see it the way I can see it as a teenager, but like identical, just the white version, like a Latina. That's the only difference. You couldn't see a white young lady, you know, and then Mimi was a Latina woman. Same exact face, just that difference. Same hair, everything. So that was really nice to see as well. So anyway, yeah, man, I just want to share that, and I want to, you know, my condolences to Maya and Doug, you know, and also my condolences about Trevor, man. That shit hit me like, what the, excuse my language, the fuck? All of a sudden, like, we were talking on Facebook, she was joking with me, I was dating this new woman, and I think Rochelle was in on that conversation, and we were like making jokes about it, and Mimi's like, oh no, like, you know, Shakura, you're going too fast, and it was just funny. And then the day after, it was just, that shit hurt me, man. And then after that, like Mimi, a few months, it hurt me. I love that woman, and although she's transitioned, she'll always be with all of us in our hearts. I love her dearly. Thank you all for giving me the opportunity to share with you. Thank you all for being here.
I don't think you want me that close because I will blow the ears off of everybody here. So, my name is Hector Rivera. I am one of Mimi's classmates. So over here, I've known her for a little bit more than a day. Doug, I want to first say, you know, my hat's off to you, brother. Legit. Mimi, I had a crush on her in the 7th grade. That lasted 15 seconds. Because Mimi was a spitfire. Okay. Ritalin wasn't invented back then. That's how much she was a spitfire. She was all over the place. And I was very quiet at that time, if you believe it or not, and very shy for some people. And the bottom line was that I'm looking at her like, whoa, this girl is all over the place. But it was something that captured me as well as the rest of my classmates, because if you don't realize it, everybody that was in 127, can you stand up for a second? I just want to see you guys for a moment. Okay. All right. This is my classmate, and one of the things that I always say is that if there was 6 degrees, you can sit down. That was your moment, yeah, 15 seconds. But that's the type of friendship that you already know that she held within all of us. And despite despite what happens with us in life, we always somehow in shape or form have tabs on each other. You know? So when we found out about Trevor, you know, I prayed every single day. When I found out about your brother, prayed for you. Mimi, while she was in hospice in Guadalajara, I prayed for you, for your family, because I don't know how anybody can endure something like that. And to be as calm and cool and collected as you are, and I kept trying, you know, brother, you know, you got a friend in a lot of us over here, so I get it. Maya, I'm sorry. You know, losing a brother, I lost my sister a couple of years ago. It's not an easy thing. Okay? You family as well. Okay? Don't ever forget that. We all have our things over here. And I'm very sorry that you lost an uncle. I'm sorry that you lost your brother, not your mother. Okay? I really truly do feel for you, but at the end of the day, there's no fact that at least in my household, you always have family around. You know? And Mimi was fantastic in so many different ways. While she had a major in drama, she was definitely the queen of drama. She was always all over the place. She was the section leader for trumpet and all, as you can imagine. And every single time, it was like, Mimi, would you calm yourself down, woman? We would have concerts, and she is bouncing off the walls and everything else, but she was very dedicated to her craft, whatever it was. You know, her and Jesse, I would watch them both grow up and form the friendship that they started, that lives to this day. They were wearing matching outfits when it wasn't really, you know, and it was just like, will you two just quit it, like seriously? And they wouldn't be involved, but they were very much in sports or anything else, but at the end of the day, they were very much involved with cheering everybody on. You know, that was just their spirit, the way they did things. You know? So I really do appreciate that, the fact I've been able to watch that flourish to what it is, because 6 degrees of separation is something serious. Like, you know, found out that Mr. Easley actually taught my niece. You know, didn't know who Mr. Easley was for the longest of time until I saw him at graduation, and it was like, Kurt? And that was interesting. Lydia, okay, haven't seen her in years. Where do I find her? In the VA. Okay, I'm over there dozing off, knocked out. She walks up to me as soon as she sees my name, and it's like, do you know who I am? And it was like, looked up, you're an idiot, ain't you? Yeah. And just like that, that's how close we were in that regard, regardless of the fact that we haven't seen each other in quite some time. And that's the kind of spirit that everybody had for us. And I think nobody in our classroom, from our class, has that same type of relationship, because I don't see that going on anywhere in the world. And it just speaks volumes about who she is. The fact that Annie and all of our friends, Holly, you know, followed each other around for so long, not surprised at it, but we always kept tabs on each other, you know. So when our friends came, you know, passed on, you know, it kind of hurts, it hits home for us. So that being said, one of the things that I try to tell people, I learned this from a long time ago, I don't think about people on the way they die. I think about how they live. And Nina was definitely a spirit that I will forever remember in regards to it. You know, so that when we meet again one day, you know, we're gonna laugh. I'm just hoping that she doesn't flash me. God, I would just like put those things away, please. Don't need to see that. Okay, leave that for your husband, because at the end of the day, it's just one of those things. So listen, like I said, my condolences to you, to your family, Mike. Like I said, always feel free, you know, reach out. Everything. My condolences to everybody else in the family. I was, if you remember me, I have a whole lot more hair at one point. So if you can imagine that, then you can remember who I was back then. But at the end of the day, really appreciate seeing my classmates, my friends, family. Listen, my heart goes to all of you. I pray for all of you that we'll all get through this together. You know, but feel free, and God bless you guys.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Maria. I went to high school with Mimi to Fiorello H. LaGuardia High School of Music and the Arts. So I would like for my classmates to, because we came out and represented. Mimi was so proud of being a graduate of LaGuardia, and we came up in a moment. Of course, we were inspired by the movie Fame with Irene Cara, and I loved what you said, Jesse. She was one of my best friends since high school, and a light in my life and in the lives of so many people. Growing up, we spent a lot of time together. We rode the #2 train together. Her stop, of course, Pelham Parkway, a few stops before mine, Gun Hill Road. All of us who rode that train line called ourselves the 2-Train Posse. Me, Tashima, Nidia, Naima, Keisha, Tawana, Soika. Am I leaving out any? On the days we rode home together, because she had a lot of friends, we didn't always, it wasn't consistent, it wasn't an everyday thing, but on the days that we rode home together, she was an after-school fixture in our house. And she'd often spend the night, we'd have sleepovers, and can I tell your story? I have a twin sister. My twin sister, Melissa, is in the back. Hi, Melissa. So this is Melissa's story, because what I love about sharing memories is that we remember different things, and we remember things differently. And she shared something really funny about Mimi. How Mimi would go into her room, because by that point we weren't sharing, we were no longer sharing the same room. My room was in the basement, where we'd sneak out of my house. Go clubbing, 1018, heartthrob. But Mimi would make herself very comfortable in my twin sister's room and just plop herself on her bed. And she was just like, you know, I know that I'm your sister's friend, but too bad, like, I'm gonna be your friend too. And she just plopped herself on my sister's bed, and my sister shared that, I never knew this, that she think to herself, if this girl doesn't get off of my bed, my sister doesn't come and get this girl off of my bed. But Mimi was just determined like that. She was like, amazing. We were into hip hop, of course, and freestyle, and her taste in music was wide. Wish You Were Here was a song, Pink Floyd's Wish You Were Here was a song that we'd sing to each other. And in some ways, though she was a drama major, she managed, you know, every high school has cliques. You could just imagine what it was like to go to a school where there were majors, you know, where most of your friends were within your department. But she was the ultimate clique infiltrator. Refusing to be uncool. She'd often say to me and Tosh, we're cool, we wear black, we hang out in the village. We go down to the village and go shopping at Unique, where we found our perfect secondhand black pleather MC jackets. And browse at Tower Records and do things in Washington Square Park that, you know, are legal now, but were not legal then. And check out the street performers. We were baby feminists together. We went to the movies to see Thelma and Louise and argued about which one of us was Thelma and which one was Louise, and dreamed about driving across the country. And of course, our favorite part, we agreed on this, was Brad Pitt's cameo. Yes. But she was really proud. We both decided to major in women and gender studies, and she was really proud of getting that degree. And that was a bond that we shared together. She was loving, witty, sometimes sarcastic, zany, wild, sometimes had a deadpan sense of humor, and she had no problem making her voice heard. People would feel safe with Mimi. It's what made her good in her profession and counseling people and families. She had an amazing inner strength and deep compassion. Years before she found her calling as a social worker, specializing in bereavement therapy and working in hospice, she counseled me while I was in a deep depression, a clinical depression. Maria, cheer up. You have your whole life ahead of you. You're not blind. You can walk. You have your family. Snap out of it. I'm so glad that her technique improved. She may not always have said the right thing at the right time, but her heart was always in the right place. And she was really there for me. Despite moving to Arizona, we never lost touch with each other. She was there for me during so many milestones in my life, through the wins and the losses, when my mother was ill and transitioning. And I'm so proud of our friendship, and I'm proud of her life, and I'm so happy that we're celebrating her life. We are celebrating her life. She'll never be forgotten. I just think about just the love, and also that she was the definition of a true friend who refused to let society define her. And so I'd like, especially in terms of identity and being like una boricua de verdad, being Puerto Rican, so I'd like to recite in her honor. I'm a poet, so I'd like to recite my poem that she loved and that she would tell me that she quoted me. Ode to the Diasporican. May I? Mira mi cara puertorriqueña, a mi pelo vivo, a mis manos morenas. Mira mi corazón que se llena de orgullo y dime que no soy boricua. Some people say that I'm not the real thing, boricua that is, because I wasn't born on the Enchanted Island, because I was born on the mainland north of Spanish Harlem, because I was born in the Bronx. Some people think that I'm not bona fide because my playground was a concrete jungle, because my Rio Grande de Loíza was the Bronx River, because my Fajardo was City Island, my Luquillo, Orchard Beach. And summer nights were filled with city noises instead of coquis. And Puerto Rico was just some paradise that we only saw in pictures. What does it mean to live in between? What does it take to realize that being Boricua is a state of mind, a state of heart, a state of soul? Mira mi cara puertorriqueña, a mi pelo vivo, a mis manos morenas. Mira mi corazón que se llena de orgullo y dime que no soy boricua. No nací en Puerto Rico, Puerto Rico nació en mí.
Hello everyone, I am Samantha, and Mimi is my friend, my sister. In September, I will have known Mimi 40 years. I met her at LaGuardia in 1986, and I'm not really sure if she was an incoming sophomore like me, but Mimi had the biggest presence. She was everything to me. When I LaGuardia. You know, I'm in the dressing room. We had dressing rooms in the drama department. She's putting on makeup. Said, Mimi, I'm not coming back. She's putting on makeup. She says, really? That sucks. You did all this work to get here, and now you're just gonna leave. That sucks for you. She's like, okay, well, see you around. It so wasn't the response that I was expecting, but it was the response that I needed. And for 3 years in high school, there was always me. Okay, just do it. And any question that we were afraid to ask in acting class, Mimi asked it. I'm not gonna be afraid. So what? So what, Mr. Britt? So what? Ask. I'm gonna ask. So we got to the point where if we had a question about anything, we just went to Mimi. We knew Mimi knew. And if she didn't know, she was gonna find out. I have to say, as an adult, I think it may have been last year, we lost another friend. And so Mimi was the first call I got. She goes, Sam, how you doing? And I said, Mimi, what's going on? How did you know to call me? She says, because when I met Howie, I met you. You two were together, like a package deal. And we fell out laughing because Howie was the first person I met at LaGuardia, and Mimi was the second. And with Mimi, where you going? Oh, I'm going to the Limelight as teenagers. And we hung and we partied. We bonded over our eclectic taste in music. My grandfather was a jazz musician, and I don't think anyone knew that until maybe last year. But my family is so diverse that we bonded over Hector Lavoe. And she looked at me and was in awe and said, you can sing the entire song in Spanish. I said, yeah, but I don't know what my aunts are saying when they're yelling at me in Spanish. And we cracked up over that. I have to say that as an adult, I rarely leave Brooklyn. And it took Mimi to get me out of Brooklyn on the train, not knowing where I was going, not having a clue what to expect. But I got to the train, I climbed up the train stairs. I didn't know how I was getting down the train stairs or how far I had to walk. I don't know how hot it is outside. All I knew is that I had to be here for my sister. Doug, you just gained, I want to say there are about 200 people in the class of '89 from LaGuardia. You just gained 200 brothers and sisters. This devastated me. It took the wind out of me, because Mimi's the type of person, oh, Mimi's sick. Okay, so she'll go through. Because when I was sick, when I didn't feel well, Mimi called me, okay, girl, just get up. Let me gather you. Get up, get up, get up. You're good, you're fine. What are you doing now? You what? So what? You have to walk with the cane. And I was telling her that for the last reunion, I don't know if I'm coming, I gotta walk with the cane. She said, so what? You gotta walk with the cane. You got 2 feet, now you got 3 feet. Okay, don't worry about it. Just show up, we'll figure it out once you get there. And we figured it out once we got there. I was in awe of her. I've never met anyone like me, although some people will say, you're the black version of me. But she walked through those halls at LaGuardia and she owned them. Technically, I don't think we were supposed to be on the 4th floor with the vocal majors. Mimi didn't care. She was up on the 4th floor with the vocal majors, on the 8th floor with the dance majors, down in the basement with the instrumentalists, in the basement with us as drama majors. And she owned every hallway. She owned every staircase, every escalator, and even the elevators that we weren't supposed to be on. Mimi was, come on, Come on, just get on. Just act like you're supposed to be here. And we would stand in that elevator scared to death, but not Mimi. Mimi was the one, just act like you're supposed to be here and you'll be fine. And I use that in my life as an adult. I walk into every situation and I own it. I am not a crier, so I am hurt. I am devastated. I am tired of losing members of the class of '89. You have to understand the kids we were. We were born in the 70s and we lived through the 80s. The 80s was a crazy time. We lived through the crack epidemic. We lived through Lorena Bobbitt. We lived through Oliver North, who didn't recall anything during the Iran-Contra scandal. We lived through Eazy-E going into the hospital and in 24 hours being dead of full-blown AIDS. We are the 80s babies. We believed we could do anything and we did it. We did it. I was one of a few little black girls who went to LaGuardia to audition for voice, but I auditioned for drama and said, you know what, every little black girl can sing and dance. I'll try drama. And because I made that decision, I met the most powerful person in the world to me. That was me. It didn't matter if you were a vocal major, if you were a drama major. Mimi was your friend, and she was your friend for life. She had no problem calling you and telling you what to do. Oh, you're sick? No, you're not. Drink some tea, you'll be fine. And so when I told her my family was from Barbados, I said, that sounds so Bajan because people from Barbados, they don't believe in being sick. You're not, you can't be sick. Have a shot of rum, have some tea, and move on with your life. Things have to get done. And Mimi possessed that spirit. Every time I've never seen her sad. When I reached out to her when her son passed, I heard the sadness and it wasn't the Mimi I knew. So I didn't know how to handle that. I didn't know how to take that in because I'm always the one with an issue that's calling Mimi. Mimi, what do I do? Mimi, how do I get over? How do I navigate this? And she always had an answer. But we had good conversations, meaningful conversations, funny conversations. As she was saying, you're the funniest person in the class of '89. But we never looked to, many of us never looked to go into the performing arts. We needed to be at that school at that time because that was a safe place for us. We didn't all come from the Upper West Side. We didn't all live in Long Island. I was from Brownsville, so that already tells you. Mimi was from the Bronx. We didn't have a lot, but we came together and we made each other rich through love, through just being there. Mimi wasn't afraid. She literally left LaGuardia and she got into some school for the performing arts, and I'm like, wow. I didn't have the guts to audition for college like that, but it made sense that Mimi did because she had the guts to do everything else. She would literally be on the 8th floor when she was supposed to be in drama and walk into the drama class 30 minutes late, like, listen, I'm gonna say my lines and you guys are gonna sit here and listen. And the teacher even stopped. I can't tell you, there's pain in my heart, there is a burden on my soul, but this will be my forever friend, my forever sister. Honestly, I didn't even know until maybe the beginning of senior year that Mimi was Puerto Rican. But I heard her kind of speaking Spanish to someone, and I was just standing there with my mouth open, and she's like, what? Close your mouth. Everybody from the Bronx is Puerto Rican. And I screamed because in my mind, that kind of was true. And I said, yeah, well, you know, everybody from Brooklyn is West Indian, so I feel you on that. So, but there will never be, I don't know if you're a trauma major, maybe you can understand being in that dressing room with Mimi early in the morning. She had jokes. Really? You wore that to school? It's good that we're in all black. Like, she was that person. Her style was eclectic, but it worked. And she didn't realize that she was a fashionista and we wanted to be like her. I don't know what I'm gonna do without our conversations. I don't know what I'm gonna do without our little chuckles and our little inside jokes. But if you are not a child of the 70s, if you didn't go to high school in the 80s, junior high school in the 80s, you will never understand. We are a rare breed. We were here before technology, so we did a lot of dirt, and it's not televised. See, they said the revolution would be televised. Well, ours was not. We cut school, we had lunch delivered to school. We were everything. We really did. We were everything. And Mimi was the catalyst of just go ahead and do it and see what happens. The only way it's not going to work is if you don't do it. And I live my life like that to this day because of her. So if I feel like I can do something, I go ahead and do it. And even when I feel like I can't do it, I do it. That's how strong her impact was, even in Arizona. Because I asked her, what are you doing there? Who do you know? They said, oh, I got married and we live in Arizona. And I was like, that's kind of cool. I've never been. So the plan, Doug, was to come visit. And she says, oh, you know, you'll see me. And I said, yeah, but what if I don't? And I'm so hurt that I said that. But I will see her again. I saw her in my dreams last night. I couldn't get it together this morning. I didn't know what to wear. And I could hear Mimi saying, girl, just come as you. Why would you feel like you need to be anyone else but you? So I'm telling you guys today, there's no one like Mimi. I'm not going to refer to her in the past tense. There is no one like Mimi. There will never be anyone like Mimi. She will forever, I can't speak for you, I can speak for me. She will forever live in my heart. The little scared girl from Brooklyn who came of age in the halls of LaGuardia High School, all because of the Boricua from the Bronx who wasn't afraid of anyone or anything. I thank you guys so much. Thank you for coming. Pastor Edwina, I love you.
Go crazy. Punch the high floor.
And you're gonna punch that high floor because you know she's upstairs. Good afternoon, friends and family. Doug, Maya, Rolando, Daddy-O. I'm Annie Bowler, and can you believe that this bitch up and left us? We're all alone now. I'm mad. I don't know about y'all, but I'm gonna live the rest of my days as if she's still here is not in this world anymore. When I tell you that I'm absolutely 1,000,000% grateful that my parents moved my sister and I to the Bronx and somehow found an apartment in the building right next door to Mimi, I am damn grateful. 44 years of friendship. 44. I'm old. What can I say about Mimi that you all don't already know? Probably nothing really. She was an open book. Except when it came to her health. I knew she was having issues, but she never wanted to talk about it with me. Almost like it didn't exist if she didn't talk about it. Anytime I asked how she was, oh, I'm okay. And that was it. I only recently learned that it was much worse than she let on, and I honestly feel horrible about it. I got married last October, and she made the trek, and I never knew just how hard it was for her to get around until after. It kills me that she was in constant pain, but still, she managed to make a round trip on Frontier of all airlines just for me. Growing up with Mimi was a blast, chilling out on Pelham Parkway, hanging out and crossing over the roofs to each other's buildings and sharing clothes, which, by the way, continued right up till last October when she came to my wedding. She brought me her wedding veil to borrow, and I lent her a dress to wear, which is what I'm wearing right now in honor of Mimi. Mimi was a master of gift giving. A few years ago, I mentioned doing a charcuterie board for one of her barbecues. Every time she came to New York, she asked, can we do a barbecue in your backyard? I said, yeah, sure. So I mentioned the charcuterie board, and she sent a customized board. It was engraved, Annie's Coochie Board. Years and years ago, she was well aware of my ketchup addiction. So for Christmas, she gave me a bottle. Unfortunately, it was Hunt's, and I only use Heinz because I'm a snob. Some of my very best White Castle t-shirts came from Mimi. Last year, White Castle was celebrating the 20th anniversary of Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle, and they were offering up personalized t-shirts. So I mentioned it to Mimi, and not even 10 minutes later, she says, okay, they're ordered. The plan was to wear them to White Castle on her next trip into town. I will be wearing it solo now. Hold on a second. Okay, even though Doug already brought it up, and Hector, we're going to talk about Mimi's boobs again. Because I would be remiss if I didn't. Man, she loved showing them off any chance she got. I know, because I got flashed at least 3 times. And to be fair, they were magnificent. If her boobs were White Castles, they would definitely be crave cases. Let me tell you what Mimi was not. She was not shy. She would walk into any room, anywhere, and she was instantly everyone's best friend. She knew your life story in under 10 minutes. She knew your deepest, darkest secrets by the end of the night. She was nosy as fuck, but in a good way. In a good way. And if you had a problem, man, she would attempt to solve it as best she could. She would be totally invested and constantly inquire, making sure you were all right. Mimi was not quiet. You always knew when she was around. And her laugh, come on, her laugh. I will miss her laugh so much. So boisterous and straight from the gut. The absolute life of every party. I was honored to have her backyard barbecues for her New York trip. And what was Mimi? Mimi was fearless. Mimi was brave. Mimi was strong. Mimi was loving. Mimi was protective, especially of her kids. Mimi was adventurous. Mimi was intelligent. Mimi was fucking gorgeous. Mimi was ambitious. Mimi was candid. Mimi was authentic. Mimi was dynamic. Mimi was compassionate. Mimi was a force. Mimi will be missed.
Hello everyone, my name is Tashima, also known as Tashi. I went to LaGuardia with Mimi, who was a part of her Live Latina crew. I want to thank Doug and Maya, I want to thank Jasenia, Annie, and Maria for putting this together and allowing us to come together and celebrate our beautiful girl. I met Mimi in May of 1986. Media, who know her in middle school, brought her to a concert of LaGuardia's gospel chorus. She introduced her around and told us she would be joining us at LaGuardia in the fall as an incoming sophomore. And the first thing I remember, other than her obvious beauty, was her laugh. Not a polite giggle, not a quiet chuckle. Mimi's raspy, guttural laugh was like her, genuine, loud, and free. The kind of laugh that filled the room. Then came her craziness. That fierce, uninhibited spark that made people use sayings like no holds barred, balls to the wall, call it like it is, throw caution to the wind, and my favorite, like there's no tomorrow. Because for Mimi, life was right now, unfiltered, unapologetic, bursting at the seams. Mimi, Maria, and I became a close, unlikely trio. A drama major, a vocal major, and an art major. And we shared many antics, many adventures through those high school years. She pulled me out of my shell, made me take chances. And we liked to the fullest. A crazy girl. But once I got to know her, long enough to look past the fire and the flare, what I saw was even more stunning. A golden heart, loyal soul, and an intuitive and insightful mind. She was a loving daughter to her parents whom she honored deeply. A strong and passionate sister to her siblings. A greatly devoted wife. And the best and proudest, most fierce mother. She wasn't just the life of the party. She was the heart of it too. During our last actual conversation in January, right before our beloved Trevor's memorial, I got to make her laugh. I inadvertently said something silly about communicating with the dog. And in landing, she just burst out with laughing. And just for that moment, the clouds parted, and she felt better. I'm so fortunate and blessed to have had that moment with her, to return the favor of what she had done for me countless times over the years. On the evening of May 18th, Doug facilitated a Zoom call for our Niagara leaders to share with her a cherished moment of memories, songs of laughter, just with these weeks. I believe every Friday of the meeting, she tried to smile, Even through the pain, she let our love in. She knew we would carry her with us always. The next morning, our meeting passed peacefully, carried by the strength of that love. To Doug, our hearts are with you. You and me were a love story, a partnership, a team. She was so proud to be your wife. To Maya, her greatest joy. You carry her legacy. You carry her strength and her spark, her soul. She loved you with everything she had. To her father, Rolando, thank you for shaping the woman that she was. To her siblings, she cherished you more than the words ever say. Rest easy in life. All of us who know you, love you, and honor you, we carry you in every beautiful, wild, unapologetic moment we dare to live. We'll say what we mean. We'll love like there's no tomorrow. We'll throw caution to the wind, and we'll laugh. Laugh loud and proud and free, just like you promised.
At this time, we'd like to share a video tribute of Mimi's celebration of life. mountains. And so my husband and I, our condolences to his condolences. One of the things that I do know about Mimi was that she did pray. She did pray. She may have been mixed up in a whole bunch of things, but she did pray. And so I want to share this with you. Prayer is a powerful tool for shaping how we think about God, ourselves, the world, and our role in the world. The Lord's Prayer not only teaches us how to pray like Jesus by giving us words to say, but it also leads us into a rich and meaningful way of talking to and hearing from the Lord. So this was Mimi's prayer as well. Let us all bow our heads and close our eyes. This is the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us of our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the power and the glory forever and ever. Amen. I would like to invite Mr. Ivan Rivera de Beltran singing Por Ti Volar.
No, it's fine. You don't want to be looking at I was never close to Mimi, but like with everything in her life, she impacted not only me, but all of us. She was brilliant, she's amazing, a force to be reckoned with, and a force of nature. And talking about God, when I heard her loud voice at lunch in LaGuardia, one of the lunchrooms in LaGuardia, my first instinct was, this girl is trouble, and I need to keep away from her. Well, God taught me a lesson, and that was to not let preconceived notions influence me. Because after that moment, I encountered her several times. I may not have spoken to her, but I saw her with her girls. I saw the compassion, the laughter, the love, and her brilliance and her genius. I'm so glad that she got her degrees, that she impacted a bazillion people in her chosen profession, guiding them through such difficult times. And what's so brilliant that I'll always carry with me, and that we all carry with us, is that we're gonna be having bad days. She's gonna come to us, she'll laugh, she'll say, stop, get yourself together. And I believe that because I lost my family members in the last 5 years. And being that she is a force of nature, our Mimi, she'll not only be present, she'll be present every day for the rest of our lives. So, quick story about the song. No pressure. Doug and Mimi love this song, and I hope I do Mimi justice by singing this for you all now. You're not going to hear what's happening in my earbud, so bear with me. Oh, I'm going to hum a little bit, and then I'm going to sing. I'm going to kind of stop, but not really, because there's a brilliant ending, and there'll be a slight pause before the brilliant ending. horizonte falto de palabras. En la sombra entre luces todos negro para mi miradas. Si tú no estás junto a mí, aquí tú en tu mundo, separado del mío por un abismo, oye, llámame, yo volaré a tu mundo lejano. Por ti volaré. Espera que llegaré, mi fin te trae, pues eres tú, para vivirlo los dos por ti. Volaré por cielos y mares hasta tu amor, abriendo los ojos por fin, contigo viviré. Cuando está lejana sueño un horizonte falto de palabras, y ya sé siempre estás ahí, ahí, una hecha para mí, siempre humilada para mí, por mí, por mí, por mí, por ti volaré. Espérame que llegaré, mi fin de trae, eres tú, contigo yo viviré, por ti volaré. Por cielos y mares hasta tu amor, abriendo los ojos por fin, contigo yo viviré, por ti yo volaré. Por cielos y mares hasta tu amor, abriendo los ojos por fin, contigo yo viviré, por ti volaré. Por cielos y mares.
As we come to the conclusion of this amazing service, please know that you are welcomed to partake of Mimi's favorite castle. Oh my God, I have to read it. White Castle hamburgers in the alcove. Let me just pray a benediction over you all. Bowing your heads and closing your eyes. Father, I thank you for this time together today, Lord. I thank you for covering each and every person here. Lord, your word says that we mourn with those who mourn, that we celebrate knowing that Mimi and her son are with you, Lord God. They're in the palm of your hands. So I ask that you continue to just minister and comfort each and every person here, especially the family members. Lord, we bless you, we love you, we thank you for this time together to celebrate life. Until we all meet again, continue to teach us your ways, Father, and give us the grace to walk in it. And we pray these things in Jesus' name. We all touch and agree and we say amen and amen and amen. Thank you, thank you, thank you.